Week 5's in the books, everyone. Welcome to the Voice of College Football Top 25. That actually makes sense. It makes sense because it's based on the results on the field, not preseason prognostications, projections, schedule evaluations in the future. No, it's based on number one, the results, the wins and the losses. Number two, who you played to date, not in the future. Number three, it's based on the performance, meaning a dominant performance is weighted more heavily than just a win by a fraction of an inch. And the same thing with losses as well. If you perform credibly, capably against top opponents, then that loss is weighted well in your favor, and not blowout losses, of course. So let's get to the top 25 that actually makes sense. And again, these are not necessarily the 25 best teams in the country. Let's get this straight. These are the 25 best resumes to date based on those three criteria. At number 25, we've got Kansas State. At number 24, Oklahoma. Iowa's 23. Duke at 22. Rutgers at 21. In the top 20, we've got Ole Miss, Illinois, South Carolina, LSU, Ohio State. At number 15 is USC. Number 14 is Michigan. Number 13, Mizzou. UNLV at 12, Pitt at 11. In the top 10 in all of college football, we've got undefeated Indiana, Iowa State at 9, Oregon at 8, BYU's at number 7, Georgia at 6, and in the top 5, that actually makes sense, Miami, Penn State, Texas at number 3, Tennessee at 2, and the number 1 team in all of college football with certainly the best win, but it's not just about the best win, it's the entire resume, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Again, the top 25 that actually makes sense. If there's a better ranking system out there, I would love to see it. It's not perfect, it's not flawless, so consider this. The more games that these teams play, the more complicated it is for me to figure out how they should be ranked. So I go through a process that makes sense, that is logical. It's a deduction. It's a comparison on through the 70 or so teams that we're considering for this top 25, but it's not perfect or flawless. You could argue any of these positions. Yes, but it's logical. So if we did it the way that the AP or the coaches poll or other people do their rankings, we could simply take our previous week's ranking and say, Alabama was number 7 and we had Georgia at 4, and now they played a game and Alabama won the game and it was close. So now we're going to move Alabama up to like number 1 and we'll move Georgia down to 5, something like that. And we would just move. No, that is not consistent and it's not logical because the resume changes constantly and it doesn't just change based on the game that was played this past weekend. Georgia Tech and Boston College's early season wins against Florida State. That first win by Georgia Tech over Florida State held a lot of weight. That Florida State team was ranked by most of us in the top 10 in the country. I had them more in the 15 to 20 range, but we had to start somewhere. Obviously, the weight of that win has subsided. Wins over Kansas have subsided into not meaning nearly as much as they did at the time of kickoff. So let's understand. Penn State defeating Illinois as an undefeated football team that defeated Kansas and Nebraska, different than had Penn State showed up and played an Illinois team that was 1-3 with a win against a MAC school, and that's it. So the wins change throughout the season and the weight of those wins and, of course, the overall resume. This is the way we do it here at the Voice of College Football. It's based on logic and reason. I know that those qualities are being lost in this world and in this society, but we hold true to those that are self-evident right here at the Voice of College Football.